Welcome to Season 3 of the Soualichi Stories, presented by the Foresee Foundation and funded by Fonds voor Cultuur Partitipatie. The Soualichi Stories series includes tales of our island's beloved legends, history, and folklore as told by exceptional storytellers. Foresee Foundation is honored to share these stories as it brings people together and bridges the gap between generations. These stories remind us of our culture, our heritage, our one island. Through these stories, we hope you feel more connected as we thrive to keep storytelling alive. Please enjoy this next Soualichi story and all other stories within this series, and let us know if there are any other particular stories you would like to hear in the future. Enjoy!
Amina, how much clam cherry you managed to pick, girl?
Not so much, Tanty, but it's too high up the tree for me.
Well then, we got no other choice but to take what we get. If your mother see us reach late, she gon' cut your tail and blame me for it. You know she don't like when we reach home after dark.
Amina and her Aunt Deborah had to rush out the bushes to get ready for Amina's big day tomorrow. They lived in Mid-Region near Sarah Konochi Arundel's property. Miss Arundel, affectionately called Miss Konochi, was a huge landowner and respected businesswoman. She was the daughter of a plantation owner and an enslaved African. As a mixed person, she was highly regarded for her fair skin, which was toned like gold. Her hair was long past her shoulders and full and pretty. While Miss Konochi looked like a heavenly dream, she kept her hair wrapped like most women did at the time. Amina loved looking at her because she would reflect on how she'd like to look. Miss Konochi walked with grace and could not be missed as she was taller than the average woman. Amina was 17 years old and very adventurous. She was thin and quite lanky. Amina was the type of girl to fight with the boys, climb up trees, and play with animals. She wasn't easily scared, unless her mother called her out by her full name, Amina Esther Lake. Amina's mother, Miss Marjorie Lake, was a proud, hard-working woman. The three females lived alone, as Amina's father went to the U.S. to work. She was the apple of his eye, and they missed each other dearly. Following Amina and Deborah's adventure Saturday evening, the women got up early for church. They were all Methodists, but Amina spent her earlier years at a Catholic church because her father was one. He felt a Catholic background would give her more discipline and better opportunities. Her mother, Miss Marjorie, was indifferent and focused on instilling strong values no matter where Amina went. Nevertheless, it was the first Sunday after the end of the hurricane season, and the women's ministry organized a massive Thanksgiving service in town. On Sundays, Amina didn't have much chores to do like she did during the week, but work was very much present. Miss Marjorie would often send Amina to Miss Konochi to make a deposit in her savings. In those days, people hid their money in a tin or under their beds. But also, they would give trusted people like Miss Konochi money to keep for them. Miss Konochi was welcoming to the neighborhood children and would always have Johnny cakes, fruits, or porridge to share with the children in the neighborhood. No one went hungry around her. When Amina arrived, Miss Konochi allowed her to go inside as she was busy baking in the stone oven. Amina enjoyed visiting her house not only because of the food, but also the scented oils Miss Konochi used to light up her room. Miss Konochi was always welcoming to Amina since Adam, so Amina knew her way around the house. This time around, Amina did something unlike her nature. She picked up one of Miss Konochi's combs and hid it under her blouse. Amina felt that if she combed her hair with Miss Konochi's comb, her hair would become rich, long, and appealing like her idol. She thought about the attention the other girls received, especially from the boys up in French Quarter, who were known for their choice in pretty woman. After stealing the comb, Amina waved goodbye to Miss Konochi and hurried home. Miss Marjorie left earlier as she was part of the usher team. Along with her aunt, who she'd simply refer to as Tanti, they slicked down their edges with the clam cherry and strutted to church like the hottest girls in town. Amina was one of the youth asked to perform that day to celebrate the end of hurricane season. She sang the hymn, "Great is Thy Faithfulness." On their way home, the three ladies talked about what they enjoyed about service and the people who made them laugh, especially Mrs. Richardson's alto performance while playing the organ a bit off key.
We made a Savior, and our love was true. Come, O Holy Spirit, all our homes renewed.
Miss Marjorie went home with some extra food she set aside for Miss Konochi and told Amina to drop it off as an act of gratitude for how she helped their family. She prayed in her heart that Miss Konochi did not realize the comb was missing. As she said in her own words,
I mean, she full of money, so me think she gonna get on about that.
Amina arrived at her door and knocked.
Good afternoon, Miss Konochi. My mother sent me to bring some food from the Thanksgiving party at church.
Miss Konochi slowly came to the door as she just woke up from her afternoon nap. She was Catholic, so church ended much earlier. Nevertheless, she accepted the plate and Amina immediately turned and said,
You're welcome. Bye.
Then she heard Miss Konochi belt a strong,
Hold on right there. You remember the 10 Commandments Mrs. Hazel taught you in Sunday school?
Yeah.
Amina responded.
So where my comb, young girl?
Miss Konochi asked. Amina hung her head in shame and responded,
I took it because I wanted my hair to get nice and long like yours. And I was tired of the other children calling me picky hair girl or tough hair girl.
Let me tell you something.
Miss Konochi asked Amina to have a seat on the floor. She went into her bedroom and took a comb out of the drawer and asked Amina if she'd like her hair styled for school. Amina looked up surprised but said yes while trying to contain her excitement. She wondered why Miss Konochi wasn't more upset. Miss Konochi proceeded to part the middle of Amina's hair and loose out the previous style. She spoke to Amina and said,
You're beautiful. Your skin is radiant and your hair is like a crown. Wear it proudly. I'm familiar with what people say to young girls like you, but never depend on someone else to validate or give you affirmation. You know, more than half the time, I think about cutting my hair very short. Girl, that's why it always wrap. This heat makes me tired. And I literally have to be up for morning to give it a good wash and cleaning. And when I'm done, I barely know what to do with it after. You notice how my curls shrink when it gets humid?
Miss Konochi asked.
Yeah.
Amina said.
And I hate it because people don't get to see how long it be.
Miss Konochi interjected.
And so what? You are not born to impress people. Love yourself. You know, during slavery, women would hide grains in their hair to use as clues so those seeking freedom can find their way safely. As a matter of fact, with the same hair you have, they will plant maps in their hair as guideways to lead others to freedom. That is what your hair can do. It was a code to emancipation. Imagine if all we ancestors shaved their heads because they hated themselves. Your hair shrinks because of God's brilliant design. He knew the heat would bother you, so your shrinkage is to give you a relief, girl. Look at how your hair defies gravity. There are people who want what you have. When you have puffs or afros, that's your hair making a statement. Come on, repeat after me. I am bold. I am brave. I love who I am.
Amina repeated it a bit sheepishly.
I am bold. I am brave. I love who I am.
Miss Konochi told her to get up and say it with confidence.
I am bold. I am brave. I love who I am.
I am bold. I am brave. I love who I am.
Amina said it with more
I am
bass.
brave.
She
I
repeated
love
it
who I
about
am.
5
I am
times
bold.
and hugged
I am
Miss Konochi.
brave. I love who I am. I am bold. I am brave. I love who I am. I am bold. I am brave. I love who I am.
But listen, little miss. Go home and bring back home.
Miss Konochi said it with a beautiful smile. She never told Miss Marjorie because she knew Amina's behind would pay the price. But whenever she saw her, she'd jokingly say,
Bring back home.
We hope you enjoyed this inspiring Soualichi story, presented by the Foresee Foundation and funded by Fonds voor Cultuur Partitipatie. We hope this story helped you to feel more connected to the island and to each other. More information on the story and schedule can be found on the Foresee website and social media pages. We look forward to connecting with you again in our next Soualichi story.